All right, what's up, guys? My name is Jess, and we are here at the George Eastman House and Museum, and we are here for Upstate Social. This is going to be a day-long event where we're just kind of like going to different seminars, learning some stuff about social media, and it's going to be a fun time. So is everyone else pumped? You guys pumped?
Excited.
Everyone pumped? We're all pumped. Yeah. See you guys in there. So we just got done with our very first seminar for the day. We had some cool speakers talk about Facebook Live. How are we feeling? All right, so yeah, we are moving on. I'm headed to a seminar called Control-Alt-Delete, and I will be talking about that after we're done with it. So yeah. Oh, thank you for the light. Oh, geez. So we just got done with, what was this one? With Fish Where the Fish Are. It says right up on the screen. So basically what this talk is about, it was by Jeff Noss. He works with Digital Hive. He's one of the owners of Digital Hive, I guess. And so basically it was just talking about Facebook advertising and monetizing correctly, targeting specific demographics, and it was very entertaining and very informative. Next up, we have matching a username with a face, and basically, what is that going to be?
Connecting your digital audience in real life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So kind of matching your in real life persona with what you're projecting online. So we'll talk about that after it ends. So basically, the second seminar that we sat through was a panel discussion about matching a username with a face, which basically talked about bringing your online persona into the real world, connecting directly with your clients, your customers, whatever. We had a few online businesses currently based in Rochester, as well as an online kind of collective sort of thing that goes on in Buffalo, and then we had someone from the Little Theater. So it was kind of a good mix of different, takes on this whole idea of bringing your online persona into the real world. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. So what did you guys go to?
So I went to How About Them Bills, and it was a speaker from the Buffalo Bison and the Buffalo Bills. Basically, she did the social media for them, and she talked about the importance between how to post on each platform. So Snapchat, she told us you can actually have linked accounts. So she does, like I said, Buffalo Bills, Buffalo Bison, and also Buffalo Sabres. So on her Snapchat, she has 3 different accounts that she can switch through her real people. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
It was interesting. She told us a lot about, working with, well, not, directly working with, but involving the players and the coaches, and she was saying how, they would do takeovers, so sometimes her job's easy. She just kind of walks into, the locker room or wherever, and the player would grab her phone and start, going off about different things. So I thought that was kind of fun. And, yeah, I don't know, and just how one thing I thought was interesting was, she said they do have a content calendar for each month with, things they want to do, broad picture, but then a lot of it is just really day-to-day, organically, especially with sports is obviously an industry where that's kind of how it works is, you never know what's going to happen, what's going to be, come up, people get traded, how the game goes, anything like that. So it's very just on the fly, coming up with different things. So I thought that was pretty cool.
All right, so Naima, what is your take on the whole matching a username to a face?
So I thought it was really interesting because one of the speakers on the panel was from the Little Theater. So I've gone to the Little Theater tons of times. I grew up in Rochester, so I've been going there for years, and I thought it was really interesting to see the behind the scenes and then how it actually plays out. So they were kind of going into how they come up with their events and their partnerships and things like that. And then so to know that little bit of information, how they figure that out, and then see it all play out, I thought was really interesting.
So, little fun fact, actually, by the way, the Little Theater has a Twitter account, and the popcorn in the Little Theater has its own Twitter account, and I checked that during the seminar,
Right.
and because I didn't believe it, I was like, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
But like, you'll find that there's a whole subsection of Twitter dedicated to like weird stuff like that, like you know, just like inanimate objects that have their own kind of Twitter persona, and it's, I don't know, I find that really interesting, and I think
do
that's really
too.
cool.
I think that's how you build engagement, though.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
There's going to be fans of the popcorn, and then they follow the page, and that's going to, you know, spread the word about their popcorn.
And there's like
We're gonna go
quality
there.
content on there too, like it's
Right.
impressive. All right, so we are off to lunch now, and then after lunch is over, we have one more seminar where people are all split up, and then we have a large group seminar at the end. So kind of two more big things coming up, and we'll be talking about those soon. All right, so we just come out of the end of the seminar. I didn't get a chance to talk about my last personal seminar that I went to, which was the Ready, Set, Go Live one, and that was taught by Jenna Kempe, and she is the social media person for Xerox, and that was really cool, and it's really got the gears turning in my head about going live for YPC Media and doing some stuff with that. But the very last seminar was a panel discussion about influencer marketing, and a lot of it was focused on like Instagram and stuff, but it was really cool, and I can definitely see how it applies, and I thought it was really interesting. So now, at this point, we're gonna go get some thoughts from everyone else and try and see how they how their experience went.
So the love-hate social session that I went to with TC Pellet, he talks about how one of his first clients, he made all this content for, sent it to them, and months later they never used it, and they changed everything, and you know, he found that very disappointing. But later on he learned that, you know, you're not going to satisfy every client. So I thought that was a really important point that he made, and it kind of made me feel better because I was able to relate to that. I've had clients change what I've made, so I know I'm not alone.
So I had a great time today. I learned, you know, a lot of different things. I think, you know, what was interesting to me was a lot of like kind of the running themes throughout the day with all the speakers. You know, this is still a new field, a new industry. Everybody's still learning a lot, how to master it, how to use it efficiently, the best way. But you know, saying that though, there's really no right or, you know, there are wrong things you can do, but there's no wrong way necessarily. So I thought that was interesting. Each speaker kind of had their own, you know, perspectives, their own niche markets, their own things they were doing. But I think, you know, authenticity, consistency, accuracy, you know, vetting your own stuff, like those were kind of the themes to me that I took that, you know, again, there's no necessarily right or wrong way, but just to kind of like think about those things when you go about, you know, using social media for marketing purposes, things like that. I guess that's what I kind of took from that.
Okay, so today was really fun. The one thing that I probably took away the most from just talking about people's brands and how they're monetizing them, to always like stay true to yourself and your own goals and what you want out of it. I think that's incredibly important, no matter if you are like a small local company or even, I know a lot of our clients are small, like mom and pop type shops, and that's still an important thing to think about.
I really enjoyed TC Pellet's seminar today. So his was called Love Hate Social, and I think we all have a love-hate relationship with social media because it kind of runs our lives now, and I appreciate that because that's how we all make our living here. But also I don't want to be one of those robots staring down at my phone all day. I really like that he was talking about forming kind of unlikely relationships between brands that you wouldn't typically think go together. So he was talking about how, was it the Iron Smoke Whiskey? The Iron Smoke Whiskey, he partnered with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So he was bringing awareness, and they raised $10,000 for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, all through advertising for Iron Smoke Whiskey. I thought that was great.
I think my favorite part was Fish Where the Fishes Are with Jeff Noss. He talked about creating ads on Facebook specifically, and he said, know your audience, create content specifically for them, and think about how they would feel or what, like when they saw, like what they would think when they saw your ads. I think that was great. He gave really good examples. He was super smart, and I like to see that.
So my passion personally is geared towards more visual media, so I'm big on Instagram. So my favorite session that I went to today was probably the food picture session. I thought it was interesting because she gave the little tips and tricks that you don't think about every day, like balancing texture and contrast and what kind of background you want to use given the time of day that you're trying to portray. So if it's a dessert, you want to try and take a picture when the sun's going down. If it's a breakfast, you want to do it right when the sun's up with that like full natural bright light. So I thought that was really interesting, and I also learned about a lot of apps that you can actually plan out what your Instagram feed is going to look like as a whole visually. So you don't want to post two posts together that are of a very similar contrast and color. You don't want to make your feed too bland and so consistent that it's expected all the time. So I thought that was a really interesting way to switch it up and keep things exciting and keep your audience engaged.
My favorite speaker was definitely TC Pellet, and one thing that I found incredibly interesting with him is the way that he approached content writing. And he was talking about one specific example where he was given the opportunity to work with a large craft brewing festival, and he really wanted to capture what that whole scene would feel like and be like. So he went out to where it was going to be, and he just put a beer on the ground, on bricks, and just captured that kind of raw feeling, and then based all of his copy and all of his actual creative on that one specific photo and how that photo made people feel. And I thought that was a really great way because it was, instead of trying to think of what the call to action is or anything like that, he was starting from the general feeling of what he wanted everything to be.
So one thing that really stuck out to me was, I think it was in the talk about social media and Instagram feeds, and they were talking about being selective with the types of content that you're going to post. I think sometimes as marketers we're just kind of trying to find content that will work, but I think that stuck out to me because it's important to take a step back and really be selective about what you're posting.
Oh, absolutely. So I would add to that, you have to have everything planned.
Yeah.
And that sounds non-authentic, but you have to plan how you're going to be authentic.
Right.
And I think that you and I have agreed when we've talked, I would rather have less posts that are really good and visually engaging than just slam so many posts and not have them do well.
Absolutely.
So that was a big thing. And then another big thing too, you got to go shopping. When we went to that Instagram thing, even a little piddly background, pen and paper as a background.
Yes.
Now we're going shopping at Michael's and Target and other places to make sure that we have a consistent theme to what we're posting on Instagram.
Yeah.
So that was good.
And that goes along with the whole piece about engaging content as well. Just making sure you're posting content that people are really zeroed in on.
And fearless, people, fearless. That's what we're after, that you can't be afraid. Now, Abby's too shy to tell you, but she is going to tell you the very first thing, one of the first posts she ever did, she stood on a chair in the middle of a restaurant.
I did.
So that's pretty
My
fearless.
first day.
Your very first day you did, and I was like, wow, I'm so glad we hired.
Did you say anything, or did you just stand up on
No,
the chair?
I stood up on the chair and I took pictures.
Oh, nice.
Right.
The millennial I am.
Well, wait.
Of your food?
Right,
Did
yes.
you get it?
So you're the millennial and I'm the girl that's half a century. And the lesson here is that in this industry, two things, you have to remain constantly teachable and willing to learn new things, because what you knew how to do 2 years ago has completely changed. Hello, where's Lord Square? Hello. So you have to figure out what is relevant, and to see all these people that are here today not as your competition, but as colleagues and collaborators.
People you can learn from.
People you can learn from.
So the only thing I want to know is, how do I become an influencer? How do I get paid to eat my favorite food?
I know, right? That's the biggest thing is, I don't know, just gain a bunch of followers on Instagram and, in all honesty, I can kind of relate to them a little bit, just from doing stuff with Nerf, because I have companies message me, email me and go, hey, can we send you blasters? Can you do a review of this stuff? I had a company from China send me a bunch of third-party darts and magazines and, all kinds of fun stuff. But so it's really just a matter of establishing yourself, and granted, that took about 4 or 5 years in YouTube to get to that point. But
it takes time.
I mean, the main thing they were really stressing on was consistency. And so with
I heard that a lot
consistency,
today.
that's my main problem, is a lack of consistency overall on any of my social media. So that's the main thing I need to work on. But once I get that down, who knows what might happen.
I would definitely agree with that. I would say the biggest takeaway today that I heard in almost every single seminar was consistency.
Yeah.
You just got to be consistent. The rest will follow.
All right. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you see, please subscribe so you know you can see when we put out new stuff. And thank you so much for watching.